What is your childhood dream when you're in school? I didn't have a dream. When I was a teenager, I thought my life was completely failure. In South Korean school, each year, as we progress next grade, we must write about our hobbies, religion, family, and so on. For me, the most difficult part was to write about dream. Elementary school is 6 years, middle school is 3 years, and high school is a further 3 years. That is total of 12 years, and I hated to see word dream because I didn't know what to write. My parents said to become a teacher is a good job for a girl. So I wrote down teacher as my fake dream, and my teachers loved it. But then they worried, Jin, you should study if you want to become a teacher. I couldn't tell them, sir, it's just a fake dream. I don't know what to live for. If there was a time machine, I would go back to teenage Jin and say to her, Jin, you will travel the world. And she will say, excuse me, who's Jin? Okay, Jin is your future short name, and you will travel the world. What? I don't know how to speak English, and I'm not rich. How can I travel the world? No way. You mean I become super rich? No, sorry, you won't become rich, but you will do it. And she was afraid of everything, like she couldn't go to toilet at midnight because she turned on every light on the way to toilet. And she was so afraid of everything. So how could this girl who is scared of everything, who couldn't speak English and who didn't have one single dream, travel the world? Here's what happened when I turned 19 years old. I made small goals and objectives. Okay, let's read 100 books. And I found the reading book was much easier than studying. And I started having a dream. My first dream was to become CEO. I don't know why I dream it, because CEO is not a job, but a position. Then later, I found some information online that it was possible to get working permit visa. And I had never been out of my country, so I wanted to take this opportunity. But before going to Canada, there was some picture I missed. Before going to Canada, I wanted to travel alone in South Korea. Alone. I never traveled alone before, so it was the biggest adventure of my life up to that point. I had so much fear, but I realized that I love adventure. Then I checked in Canada for 4 months. I went north to live in Yellowknife, which is known for its crazy cold temperature, but even more so for its beautiful northern lights. Finally, when I turned 24 years old, I found my life dream, to travel to the space. Because I love adventure and I love to see what's up there. While looking at northern lights on frozen lake in Canada, I decided to hitchhike to the space. I'm not joking, seriously, like I thumbs up to the sky, because sometimes I'm a bit like this. Then suddenly I was so scared. Maybe there will be no any oxygen, and maybe I could not meet my family and friends again. So I decided to settle on traveling the Earth first. This is how I started this traveling. Why travel on a bicycle? A car is too fast. Walking is too slow. A bicycle has good speed to see the world. And there's one more reason. I'm very much sleepy on the car. If I'm being honest, I was very lucky that I finished my hitchhiking trip safely in Canada because many times I fell asleep in the car. I flew from Canada to the United States to start my cycling trip, and I bought everything such as bicycle, camping gear, and so on in 1 week with very little research. Just before start the cycling trip, I was surprised at myself. Wow, finally I found my dream, and I'm about to start. That is the very first thing I learned. It's okay to live without knowing your dream. Some people find their dream when they're a young child, like Mozart. It's good for them. Some people find their dream late, like me. If you still don't have a dream, it's fine. Just try to do many things to figure out what is most important to you. One day, you'll find it. At the second day of my cycling trip, I was crying in my tent because it was too hard. But I already spent $2,500 for preparing this trip. I told myself, okay, Jin, just let's try to reach the next destination, LA, which will take about 2 weeks. When I reached LA, I was so happy and proud and told myself again, okay, let's try to reach Las Vegas now. I always cycle like this. Okay, let's try cycle a little bit more. I didn't look that far ahead. If I look far to the future, it becomes too big, and I feel like I could not do it. So I always made just small goals to give myself the belief. After Latin America, almost when I finished Latin America, I was not sure what to do. Go back home or continue on to Africa. Then I made another small goal. Okay, let's try a little bit of African trip. If I don't feel safe, I could fly to Europe. And when I arrived in South Africa, I was so surprised because it was more developed than what I had seen on the media. But at the beginning, I was very nervous because I was starting from South Africa, which is known to be a dangerous country. Sometimes I would see sign warning of, hijacking, crime alert, do not stop your vehicle. I was not sure if I was an exception because I was on a bicycle. Whether I kept moving or stop, it would be the same. So I just kept cycling. After South Africa, I felt a bit comfortable. But then I was not sure I could cycle all the way to the north. There's my favorite signboard in Kenya, which I saw in Kenya. Believe me, you will get there. As this sign suggested, I moved slowly, day by day, and village by village. Eventually, I cycled from south to north over the period of the year. That is the second lesson I learned. Don't look too far ahead. Big goals can seem impossible. You can create too much pressure to try. It is better to see goals in front of you and try little by little. Then one day you'll get there. After Africa, I continue on to Europe, which is my third year and fourth continent on my bicycle. I was always scared to do wild camping in Latin America and Africa. And I thought once I reach Europe, maybe I could do wild camping because it looked safer. But then I realized I was still too scared. To find a place to sleep, I asked local people, can I set up my tent at your yard? I would put knife and pepper spray when I sleep in my tent alone. Sometimes I tied my zip strings on my tent so stranger cannot open my tent quickly. And sometimes I put my bicycle or luggage in front of the door to block stranger cannot open quickly. I'm not joking that I had many nightmares. When I was sleeping in my tent along Route 66 in the USA, I dreamed a stranger came into my tent and fired a gun at me. When I was sleeping in Africa in my tent, I dreamed elephant stepped on my tent with me inside. Many times my bicycle and things were stolen in my dreams. Many people said, almost every people said, "You are so brave." They really don't know how much of a chicken I really am. That is the first lesson I learned. Losers can win as well. The strongest and the bravest person are not the only one who can make their dreams. Losers, no, weakest, and then the most fearful person like me can realize their dreams as well. It's all about how much you want it. If you really want, you go through all the problems. For me, it was really scary to sleep in my tent many times. Really, I couldn't sleep well. But I really want to see the world more than my fear. So I go through all the problems and hard times to get what I want. I have cycled through 67 countries and 5 continents over 60 years. And I have seen so many cultures and people along the way. What I really like traveling by bicycle is that I go so slow that I must stop at every village and small towns. This unique experience that I could see their cultures and glimpse into their real lifestyle. While traveling this way, I have seen many different views which I could not hear from the media. When the media talk about Mexico or Colombia, it's only about drugs. When media talk about United States, it's about firearm incident. Africa, starvation. Muslim, terrorists. When the story about Europe focus on great welfare system and superior high-quality life. The media only talk about one side, but I haven't seen other side of the world. I still remember my fear when I get to San Francisco airport. An image of what I have seen on the media came into my mind. People shooting each other on the street. I was sitting at the airport for more than 30 minutes because I didn't want to go out and get shot by crazy people. But then I couldn't stay there forever because I was about to be hosted by local people and I had to hurry to meet them. I still cannot forget the moment when I got to city center because it looks so peaceful. No one killing each other, just walking. In Mexico, there is 127 million people. And most of them don't do drugs. They're like you and me. Just go to school, get a job, get married, and have babies. Mexico is the country I cried most because they're so generous to me. And Mexico is still my favorite country because of their warm heart. None of Africans I met were dying from hunger. Many of them I saw had cell phone. At the time, I didn't have any phone, and Africa were surprised at me. Why the hell you don't have a cell phone? And I was more surprised. How the hell can you have a cell phone? Because some of them didn't have electricity at their home. And most of the clothes people gave away was sold for money in Africa. In Europe, the older media shine positive light in Europe. I saw some problems. There was lots of garbage, more than I expected. Of course, it's less than in Africa, but there's still a lot. And I thought their salary is much higher, but I heard that it's not that much higher. I met many Muslims, but I never met any terrorists. Muslims I met were so kind and invited me many times into their home. Iran is a popular country among traveling cyclists because people invite travelers into their home all the time and share their food and teas. If I didn't travel, I would not notice this kind of different side of the world. That is the first lesson I learned. When you travel, you will see a different side to what you have been shown. If you become open-minded and have a good philosophy, you will see different side of the world. What I have seen is only a small part of the world, but it's better than what media tells. Along the way, there was always some people telling me, it's not safe, it's not possible to hitchhike, to get a job in the north in Canada, to travel alone, to cycle with a little small budget. You're a girl, you're Asian, you're not rich. Why did I keep doing it then? I never mean to prove these people wrong. Just I love adventure, and I loved having new dreams and have new goals. I never call myself Woman Asian Traveler on my website. I use this kind of title on YouTube a few times because it's how marketing works there. But actually, I'm not Woman Asian Traveler. I'm just traveler. I don't want to define myself by being Asian or by being woman because I'm more than Asian woman. That is last lesson I learned. Don't be woman or man, only human. I'm not woman, but human, or actually more than that, so I can be anything that I want. Don't focus on your sex, skin color, age, or any other level. Don't reduce yourself to just any tech if you really want to make your dream real. If I only focus on the fact that I'm a small Asian girl, it will be difficult to cycling around the world or something like doing which is not common as a female. The most important is to go beyond who you are. Your life is not defined by who you are or what you look like, but by what you do. Thank you.